Okay guys, before I show you this, I want to let you know, if you have kids watching, it's a little gruesome. It's the deer that I promised you guys. We got a deer. I said a prayer when my husband was out in the field and I was trying to go through the other field just to stir him up a little bit. And I said a prayer, I sat down, said a prayer, and I had Atticus on my back and we were praying really quick. And at the end of our prayer, as we finished our prayer, I heard a gunshot. I heard 2 gunshots actually. And I thought, there's the Lord answering our prayer for our deer, that we can provide some meat for our family this year on our land. And we did get some. I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so a little gruesome if you aren't used to it, but if you teach your kids, that what the deer provides for your family, that it's, the meat that's put on the table to feed the family, and it's a great thing. But here's our deer. It's a little bit of a small doe, but that is fine. We asked the Lord and he provided. And my husband is actually still out there. You can see it's super dark. I used the mower to get the deer back, by the way. We don't have any fancy equipment right now, but we did use the mower to bring the deer back because it was all the way in the back field, way at the bottom of the hill. So it is dark out. It's like 6 o'clock at night, 6:15. I'm going to head back down the hill and see if my husband got a second deer. And if he did, we will have 2 and we'll be done for the season. So I'll let you know if we got a second one or not. And even if not, we are so happy and so blessed by the Lord. So a little gruesome if you, aren't used to it. But if you teach your kids, that what the deer provides for your family, that it's, the meat that's put on the table to feed the family, and it's a great thing. But here's our deer. It's a little bit of a small doe, but that is fine. We asked the Lord and he provided. And my husband is actually still out there. You can see it's super dark. Okay, so my husband came back and we only got 1 deer, and he's working on the process of gutting the deer. If you guys want to see kind of a how-to, of course it's going to be gory, so if you're not wanting to watch anything gory, then just don't watch this part, just skip this part. But I'll leave it on so you can kind of see what he's doing. butchering the deer. I thought I'd show you this part because the other part, you guys saw bruising whenever we were first taking apart the deer, first gutting it and stuff. So you saw how much bruising there was, and then it was a really small deer. These are the legs I'm working on, just in case you want to see how gross it is. These are the legs, and right now we have 2 good bowls of meat. That was actually from like the rib area and back straps is where this meat came from. And this is the bad stuff. So this is hair, this is blood, this is, you know, all the gross stuff that we're going to scrap. So I just wanted to show you what I'm working on, and I will show you guys the end results in just a minute. And I'll show you, we're just making all this into hamburger. So I'll show you after I package up the hamburger how many pounds we get out of this small deer. Anyways, I'll show you that soon. Okay, so here's what we got from those legs that I had finished, and we also did the ribs. I got 2 bowls here, and I've chopped them up. You try to, as much as you can, get them in small enough pieces because we're just grinding this into burger. So I have my grinder here, and I have the bowls of meat, and what I'll do, I'll turn it on and I'll show you, but it's going to get pretty loud. So I'll show you it just for I don't know, a couple seconds here, how the grinder works, what it's going to do, and then afterwards, we're going to bag it up, and I'll show you how we do that. These are our ground up meatballs we have here. Put them all through the grinder like you saw before, how that worked. And then what I do is I bring them over to the scale here and we weigh them out. I weigh them at 1 pound, and we have these packages. These are our vacuum sealer bags that we put them in. So I'll put this 1 pound meat here into a vacuum sealer bag, and it can get a little messy, but I'll try to show you. You'll just stuff your vacuum sealer bag with your meat. And like I said, this will be a pound package. Usually what I do is I just lay out bags, and I'll stuff all of them at the same time, and then I'll lay them out at the end, and I'll vacuum seal them at the end. So I'll show you here how this vacuum seals, because I want to see. So you just stick it in the little vacuum sealer, close it, make sure both sides click, and then you do vacuum seal. And I actually have something I forgot to set up on this because this is my first bag going through, so I'll show you in just a second. We just let that seal because it has a little heat seal in there. And this is fine, but for the next time, the vacuum mode I realized was not on. Moist. So because you're doing meat, you should always have it on moist. This is obviously not a dry product, and this is fine because I'll just use this bag faster. I'll put it in my freezer here to use it. I always flatten out my bags too, just because they're easier to store in the freezer to have flattened bags. So this is deer burger. I'll label it, 1 pound deer burger, and I'll put it in my freezer. When I get done, I'll show you how many pounds I got. Okay, it's all bagged up, sealed up, and I got 15 pounds of burger out of the deer, which is, it's a little sad, but it's meat, so meat for the freezer. All we had to do was pay for a deer tag, so it's almost free. Just in case you like my note, I was writing deer burger, and I was doing it so fast, and so I wrote deer burger, comma, thank you for your life, or death. Well, kind of the way it works. Anyway, there's my burger. Looks really good. I'm going to put it immediately in the freezer. It was in the fridge. This deer was in the fridge for 3 days prior to processing. You can keep a deer in the fridge for, usually I'd say tops 3 days, but you can also do it for 4 if you have to, just because I had to find time to be able to process it. So I found time. We processed it. That's what we got. So hope you guys enjoyed.